as many of you know, was doing a job for us. It was well designed for its day, but its day was actually quite a while ago. And what that turns out to mean is that the old website was pretty difficult to work with when we wanted to change things or do something, you know, like we're doing with the auction page. It was a rebuild of the website, and it is now in something called a content management system. But what that really means is that there's a layer of software in between the kind of stuff we had to work with directly and what the human has to work with now. So it is much easier to deal with. The particular one we're using is called WordPress. That's the most commonly used one of these, although there are several others. And in addition to the basic software, there are things called plugins. So a lot of the behaviors you're going to see on the website are actually done by these plugins and are not things that I had to program myself. So I guess we had a few goals. One was certainly to get the information that you guys need more readily available, to deal with this updating problem, and also the old model was that some very generous person offered to host the website somewhere and run it for nothing and so on. And that was great until the person disappeared because of some life event. And for at least Winterfest, the website is now mission critical because we rent the tables, you know, off the site. If something happened to the site, Winterfest would not be as profitable as, you know, if we had the site. So getting the thing under control and out of the circumstance where we had those kinds of risks was another goal. Okay, so I mentioned that we put it up in a content management system widely available and also free. And most of the software on the site was free. I think there's a $20 investment in this software. And it's amazing what you can get for free. I was amazed. And I should say, by the way, that even though I spent much of my career in IT, this is the first time I've tackled a project for a website like this. And I expected it to take a lot longer and be a lot more work than it actually turned out to be. It's now hosted at a company that's in that business. So if there's a problem at 10 o'clock Saturday night that I want attention to, there is a number to call and it will get attention. In terms of transition, that site is the property of Vienna Wireless Society. When it comes time for me to roll out of this role, somebody will come in. The site doesn't have to move, and there's more than one person today who has all the passwords and so on to get into the site and do anything that needs to be done. Also, organizationally, there are multiple people working on the site. So when Ray does the videography and wants to post it, he just posts it. You know, it doesn't go through me. He just takes care of it and sends out the email. And likewise, Pete owns the auction page, and when something needs to change there, you know, he just does it. So, you know, we're moving from a model where there's a webmaster who is the only person on earth who knows what's going on to a model where A, it's been made easier, and B, we have more people working on it. I should also mention that we have all of these nice photographs, most of them from not Winterfest, but from Field Day last year, and a few from Winterfest, because Regis and his girlfriend did most of them. And if somebody produces another wonderful set of photos this year at Field Day, then we can update this site and keep these photos fresh. Okay. I know that many of you have seen the site. I'm not going to drag you through every last detail, but just let me give you a once-over lightly of things that you may have missed on the site. So this is the home page that's displaying now. And let's see, let me find where my cursor went, which is sometimes a
bottom right.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay. And you know, these photos rotate at random. We have a meeting announcement that looks pretty much like the old site, except that if somebody wants, they can sneak in a graphic. But over here you have the club calendar. And so it's pretty easy to see what days of the month, you know, have a club event. You can mouse on the day. And by the way, you're seeing a current bug that I haven't fixed yet, which is that the calendar is running on GMT, so it thinks it's tomorrow already. Okay, so I mouse on it and I see that the event is a regular club meeting and so on. Also, we publish a few of the upcoming events, and none of these behaviors were things that I programmed. You know, there's a calendar plug-in that I just plug in. Obviously, it has to be configured with what the events are, but there's no custom code driving either the event calendar or the upcoming events. Also, I put the search widget down in here because I didn't think there would be a whole lot of searching going on, but there is a global search capability. So if I come here and type in, if I can get my cursor to go in here. I have no idea why it's.
You were there.
Yeah, you're there. There you go. Got it. Okay. All right. All right. I tried to type simulation, but I didn't make it. There you go. There you go. Okay, so if I do a search on simulation, you're going to find a post for this meeting because it talks about simulation. Also, I already posted the slides that I was going to use for the simulation presentation, so it found those as well. So that capability is there. Let's see, what else? Something else that I wanted to point out was that when you go to these tabs that have subpages, you can also mouse up here. If you mouse on meetings, you'll get similar content to what we had before. You'll get the directions and the map of Oakton High School and so on. Sheila cleaned up the map, so thank you, Sheila. That was, one of her contributions. And of course, there's been considerable talk about the auction, and the auction page is up with photos and descriptions, and Pete will be finishing this up. But with the new software, putting up this page is about as hard as putting up the same content in something like Microsoft Word. Okay, in the old site, it was significantly harder than that because you had to work with HTML tags and that sort of thing, and put geeky tools on your PC and transfer files back and forth and so on. Okay, so what questions do you have about the website? Yes, Jason.
How maintains the WordPress instance? Because recently there has been several calls in WordPress which were giving the administrative access to people who have without authorization, and they had to patch WordPress to that. And second is that recently I was getting quite a lot of errors when I was trying to have access to the website. I was getting some errors page. Are you still working on the website?
Oh, okay. Let me tell you what happened 2 weeks ago, which is probably the
Well, you did the data center error.
about what I will try to figure it out. But 2 weeks ago, the hosting service actually had a major server failure, and so we were completely down. And I reported this on Saturday night. Sunday we were down. Monday they put up, after I told them the site was going to come up with them or without them on Monday, they put up an old version of the site. So on Tuesday they were no longer a hosting service. So we are taking backups, and we have the capability to make changes like that. Now, one of the things that can possibly cause errors is when you do that, the name viennawireless.net, is defined in multiple locations throughout the world. And when you make a change, that has to propagate, and that takes time. So it is possible that there was something like that going on. Or another thing that can occur is that your browser may have cached a page.
Well, it is random. Sometimes I get page, sometimes I get error. So
I would try clearing the cache in your browser and see if that does anything.
Well, it's the same page, which sometimes it gives me an error, sometimes displays proper.
Yes, screen cap it and send it.
Yeah, I had that kind of problem immediately after we made the host changed, and the new host called the helpline of the new host, and they said, hey, try another browser and see what happens, and no problem. And it turned out clearing the browser cache was the answer to that.
What maintenance?
I'm sorry,
What about maintenance of WordPress? Who does it?
Okay, well, a combination of answers. WordPress itself installs new releases by itself if they're small releases and low risk. If they are more major releases, then what happens is I get a message on the administrative version of this page. So if I log in, to the site, I'll see a little band at the top with information about stuff going on, and it'll tell me that it's time for an update, and I'll manually do it.
I'm mostly concerned about security because this is mostly.
Okay. For WordPress, the security updates happen automatically, but for the plugins, they don't.
Okay. Yes.
So with the plugins, that's something that so far mostly I have to do, but Ray and others I hope will start to participate in this, is to watch for the indication that there's a plugin update and apply it. So as soon as you log into the site, if you have administrative privileges, you see something that says, there are some number of things that need to be updated if that's the case. So that's how that works. Yeah, John.
What about the archives from the old site? Are those all incorporated now, or are they innovative?
What we're doing now is our former webmaster has agreed to give us an archive of the old site, and we're going to, put that someplace, on our account where we don't expect people to. Well, actually, we'll probably put it in a zipped up format so that it doesn't do anything actively, but we will have that material if we ever need it. So that's the plan there.
Is all of this PC-based, Microsoft-based?
No, the servers are not Microsoft-based, they're Linux servers. But as far as the administrator is concerned, the actual administrative functions happen on server side, not on desktop side anymore. So if you're editing a page or whatever, you have a screen that has icons like Word, the center and bold, and so on and so on. All that's happening on the server side.
Yeah, all you need is a reasonably modern browser, and you're good.
And you're good to go. So
You could do it on an Apple machine as well as.
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I took my vacation, there was downtime because we were waiting for the birth of a child that came a little later than expected. I just got on the site from a less than great internet connection in North Carolina, and I could, do all the maintenance kinds of things to it. Yeah.
What would be the process for members wanting to maybe post an article or something, a discussion of some issue?
Okay, that may evolve over time, but for now, contact myself or Ray or Pete with,
So you just put up a page?
with what you'd like to see posted, and assuming that the board or the board members can concur, then that'll happen. Yeah. I will mention that there were pages on the old site that I did not post on the new site because, in my opinion, the content was stale. Nobody has said a word about any of those pages, so far I think my hypothesis was probably on target.
My next question, the CW resources, does that make it?
Should be
Yes.
up on there, yeah.
Yes.
I haven't exhausted the search for the site. Looks very beautiful.
Pull it up there.
If you go to meetings, you have the CW forum page under meetings. And here it is. Actually, the TeamSpeak instructions are on their own page because they're used for a couple of things. And here's the story about the stuff that was on the prior site.
It looks so pretty, I didn't recognize it. Well, maybe I didn't mean to say that.
Okay, let's go here and then to Ray.
Do you know where these servers reside?
I believe these are actually in Michigan. But response time is better than when I was using the host in Virginia, so. So there's a lot more than just the physical location involved. And the new host is using solid state drives, which are disk drives that don't mechanically rotate. The old host was not. So.
Physical machine or virtual machine?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Is the server instance a physical machine or is it virtual machine somewhere?
Well, it's a shared hosting environment.
So it's a virtual,
So,
or is it just a place
so,
on the server?
it's a virtual environment, but it is probably tied to a specific host. So if a host goes down, they would probably have to manually do something to move us. Okay, but on the old environment, there was a server outage and happened Saturday night, and by Monday they didn't have it taken care of. They told me that they were testing a new server, and I thought that was disappointing to take that long in that circumstance.
Do we have a firewall so they can have this?
The host does have some firewalls. Also, so far, we're not letting people without administrative passwords, right to the site. So we are not allowing comments and that sort of thing. Actually, I left something open once, 2 comments, and started to get spam and, oh, I can help you get more hits and, junk. So, if we start to decide to do that sort of thing, we'll have to do it carefully and be very aware of the security issues. Yeah. One of the things I was going to mention was things that are being thought about. I think the next big thing for the club is PayPal, and Ray is working on that. There is a lot of donkey work involved, in all of the little transactions that the club does. Now, the way that it works when you have a site like ours is that when somebody actually does the payment with PayPal, they're on PayPal's site while that's happening, not on our site. So there's much less, security concern. Yeah, John.
Along the same lines, a lot of us have used Flickr to put up event photos and things like that. So we could just
Yeah, and that's what the links are. See, Ray, you've had your hand up for a long time.
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, this website is also friendly for your iPads and your phones, which the other one wasn't. So if it's mobile friendly. And with regard to PayPal, not only will you be able to pay your dues and stuff by PayPal, which you can, but PayPal also accepts credit cards. And so we're still working that out, and of course the board has to weigh in on that. But it will be much easier to take your money that way. I mean, to renew your membership.
To redistribute the cash.
Yes, sir.
And some of you who looked at the preview may have seen the club store that had the shirts and so on. We've taken that down for now because we're not ready to take any more shirt orders anyway. But I expect we'll bring that back, and it'll have the capability of here are the sizes and here are the customization options, and I'll calculate the price based on those things that you select. You know, that's all free software that, again, you just go in and configure the products. Bob?
Will it be linked to the Hillary server?
It probably will not be linked with any presidential candidates.
I was gonna say, it might be overloaded with popular, pretty hit.
Okay, any other questions?